Hi everyone, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for Monday the 6th of May 2019, going through all the way until Sunday the 12th of May 2019. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to go through each day of the week and show you what relationships the planets are forming with one another and how that impacts all of us here on planet Earth. So these horoscopes are for all signs of the zodiac. So it doesn't matter whether you're Aries or Capricorn or Sagittarius. I look at what energy is created above in the skies and how that's going to affect us down here below. So it's based on the Hermetic principle of as above, so below. Macrocosm meets microcosm. The horoscopes are also based on UK time. So don't get too hung up on the timings because the changes are kind of gradual. Just bear that in mind. And I've had a chance to look at the week, and it's a very personal week that looks at your innate ability to love. To love things, to love people, to love yourself, to love the universe, to love your position on planet Earth, to love your life. And then things like gratitude and humility come into it, whether you have a connection with a higher power and whether you love that. And it's kind of a theme that comes up is your ability to be love and to accept love and how you handle that. So it's not going to be the easiest week in the world, but you come out of this week feeling much more confident and having a lot more self-knowledge than you go into the week with. So we start on Monday the 6th of May, and the moon goes into Gemini at 3:41 in the morning. The moon is the most sensitive part of who you are. So the moon is basically how you feel. And Gemini is a communication sign. It's ruled by the communication planet Mercury. And Gemini is about putting information out there. It's chatty, it's upbeat, it's enthusiastic, it likes to create doorways of opportunity, it wants to start new TV shows and write new books and go down paths that haven't been explored yet. It's an adventurer, it's interesting, it's enthusiastic, it's chatty, it likes to exchange ideas, and it likes to have fun. So you feel really on the ball with this shift here on Monday in terms of your thinking. Mercury, the communication planet that rules Gemini, that leaves Aries, and it's been in the sign of Aries for the last month or so. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's fire, it's pushy, it's about overcoming obstacles. And now it moves into Taurus, which is much slower, which is an earth sign. It's the sign of the bull. It's about security, not changing your mind, deciding and settling on one thing and then going with that. It's about money, physical matters, practicality, your security, your living situation, your health, your body, your career, all of that kind of stuff. So on Monday, because the moon speeds up your intellectual abilities, you're going to be really articulate, you're going to be thinking very clearly, you're eloquent, you're able to trust your thinking, and you're able to get your point across in a really positive way. With Mercury, the communication planet, slowing down, that gives you the groundedness to actually take thoughts and to be practical about them and grounded enough to turn them into physical, tangible actions that you can take. So rather than brainstorming and just hopping from one thought to another and having about 50 ideas and just being super excited about everything and then just getting nothing done because you're just up in your head, you have the time and the patience and the groundedness to just take a breath and okay, one idea at a time. Taurus is very kind of ploddy plods along, okay? So one idea at a time, and you honor that idea and you look at that idea closely. You say, does it work? Does it not work? And then if the answer is yes, it works, then you implement that idea and you write the blog, or you make the change to the CV, or you send the job application, which you have now read thoroughly instead of just the first 2 lines, and sent your CV off immediately. So Monday is a really good day and a great start to the week. You're on top of your game in terms of the way you think. You're able to get things done. You can structure the day so that you're really, really efficient and that you can get the maximum kind of productivity out of it. And even if it's just like a day, in the morning I have to go to the doctor, then I have to, or I choose to, do 2 hours of writing. Then in the afternoon I've got to go to the store and buy certain things. I have a meeting in the afternoon. I have another appointment in the evening. Rather than being overwhelmed by all of that, you're going to devote all of your energy and your focus to each one of those situations as you're in them. So at breakfast, you're not going to be thinking about your dinner date. You're going to be in the moment. You're going to be here and present. And that's what Eckhart Tolle speaks about a lot, the power of now. You're in the present moment and you're very aware of what's going on, and that's what gives you ideas, because you're here. You're not just floating around up in the sky somewhere. You're not thinking of something else. You're not... Most of us don't pay attention because we're so in our heads that 50% of us is present in any given moment. On Monday, you're going to be fully present and attentive, and that's why you're able to really cut through all of the fog and the fuzziness, and you'll be able to get to the point and gather ideas and figure out problems that have been there in your life for a while, and you'll know what to do with them, and you can take practical action to solve things that you haven't been able to solve before because you didn't have the insight. So Monday is a really useful day to revisit problems that have been beyond your grasp, your reach. On Tuesday, the 7th of May, we have Venus, the planet of love and beauty, squaring Saturn, the astrological head teacher, father time, the astrological father figure. It's like the Emperor in the Tarot, the 4th card of the major arcana. And that's in retrograde, so it seems to be going backwards. And Venus, the personal planet, and Saturn, an outer planet, they square each other maybe once or twice a year. It's kind of a big deal. A square is an aspect that creates friction between 2 planets. And when Venus, the love planet, and the structure of your life are at odds with each other, it doesn't feel very comfortable. Now the Gemini Moon also conjuncts Mars in Gemini. So the Gemini Moon makes you communicative, and it's given you this ability to cut through the rubbish and to get to the point and to have good ideas and to see what's really going on. You still have that ability today, but a conjunction is when 2 planets sit on top of one another and they mesh and blend their energies together. And it's conjunct Mars in Gemini. Mars is the male principle of desire and drive and ambition and success and confidence and independence and war and aggression. That's in Gemini. So it's communication that is absolutely full on. Communication above all. Insight, if you look at the glyph of Gemini, it's a Roman numeral 2. So you're not afraid to go into doorways or nooks and crannies in your own mind that have been hidden, and you really just want to find out everything, and you plow into those areas. And because Saturn is in retrograde, you're looking inwards. So with Mars in Gemini, that's not subtle and gentle, that's pretty tough. And because we have this combination here, there's the potential to tear into yourself. So first of all, what you need to remember is to remember that easy does it, and that you're just one person. And information can be useful, but it can demand perfection. And it can say, oh, well, look at what you failed to do there, and look at what you failed to do there, and look at what you failed to do there. It doesn't take your feelings into account. So first thing to realize and remember on Tuesday is to be nice to yourself. The Gemini Moon also opposes Jupiter in Saturn. Jupiter is the good luck planet, and Jupiter in Sagittarius, excuse me. So Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and it's about good luck by moving forward and by exploring and by traveling. The other planets are all stay here and look inwards. Don't go out into the world. We're opposing Jupiter, so that's 180 degrees away from what we're doing here. The most important thing here is the Venus-Saturn retrograde, and it is a difficult day. It's going to be a challenging day in terms of the way you feel. The Venus-Saturn square is going to urge you to look within, and it's going to urge you to look at your past failures in love. And that is love in all areas of your life. So I, for one, am going to have a long list that I can go through, and I'm going to be paying close attention to that. This reminds me of when you're in the 12-step program, there's a step 4, and step 4 is about taking a personal inventory of yourself and looking at your behavior and what you've done in the past, and looking at where you've been selfish or prideful or jealous or inconsiderate or self-seeking and frightened. And a lot of people are scared of that. A lot of people don't want to look at those sides of themselves. When I did the steps, I could not wait to do that because I'm a Virgo, and I suffer from the belief that knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is knowledge, and power is power. But knowledge can be used through power to at least make changes. So be nice to yourself first of all. Go with the flow. Look within and see what you've done wrong in the past. But refuse to go down this shame spiral and to say, oh, I messed that one up and I messed that one up. So don't get down on yourself. Try and learn from past mistakes and look to the future then, knowing what not to do. And the best way you can come out of this day is to have a greater feeling of security when it comes to love. Because let's say you've had 3 major relationships in your life that didn't work out, and you work as a school teacher and you're very religious. And you look at all of those kind of aspects and how you love and how you feel loved, and you look at the mistakes that have been made, and you look at that objectively. That's important, and that's where the Gemini Moon is good, because it looks at the facts, but where Mars isn't so good because it kind of just urges you to tear into yourself. It's a bit rough. So don't be rough on yourself and be objective. And if you come out of this day and you see what you've done in the past and what hasn't worked, you can feel secure in saying, okay, this is what I've done in the past. I now recognize that. I'm not going to do it in future because it didn't work for me or the other person. I heard someone doing that. I was inconsiderate, or I did this because I was afraid. So for instance, I went through her emails and her text messages because I was jealous and I was afraid she was cheating on me and some sort of craziness overtook me. I'm not going to do that next time. And even though it's not pleasant, you can come out feeling more secure. It's not the funnest day in the world though, is it? Doing that kind of work. Now, on Wednesday, the 8th of May, the moon goes into Cancer. By the way, Tuesday, the 7th of May, is like, to all the non-alcoholics and non-addicts out there, welcome to our world. Welcome to the 12-step land, where you have to do a personal inventory and to look at your own flaws and mistakes. It's kind of a humbling experience. It really is. But the more you know yourself, the freer you are. It really makes sense. And it's good work. If you're able to do it, it's good work to do that. And don't try and run from this today, because it's going to follow you. And if you, on Tuesday, if you decide to drown things out and shut up the noise by going to a bar and having half a bottle of whiskey and putting some pills on top of that, don't do it, because you're missing out on valuable lessons. I mean, that's your choice. You can do that and numb yourself out on Tuesday, but you're going to be missing out on great info that's going to help you for the future. So on Wednesday the 8th, the moon goes into Cancer at 8 minutes past 9 in the morning. The moon in Cancer is much more nurturing towards other people. It's a water sign. It's spiritual, it's caring, it's self-sacrificing, and it's family-oriented. And Mercury, the communication planet, conjuncts Uranus. So on Wednesday, so Mercury, the communication planet, blending its energy with Uranus and Taurus, that's communication and chaos in your practical life, kind of blending their energies. And you look at what's going on in your life again. So on Wednesday, you may feel overly concerned with the well-being of others and focus less on yourself. That's the moon going into Cancer. And that's also possibly as a result of the previous day, Tuesday. You don't want to look within anymore because you've been there and done it, and it's, you know, it's felt a certain way and you want to close that chapter and move on. Understandable. So because of the Mercury-Uranus conjunction, the chaos, you may have some faulty thinking going on Wednesday. And because it's in Taurus, once you decide on something, you don't change your mind. Bullheaded is a saying because that's what bulls are like. Once they have something in their mind, they don't change their ideas and they're stubborn and they just go with that one thing. So try not to be so certain, because if you totally rely on your thinking today, this is the total opposite of Monday. On Monday you could totally trust your thinking. Here on Wednesday you can't. Your faulty thinking can cause real chaos in your life on Wednesday. So Wednesday is not the day to sign anything or to make any major life-changing decisions. You're under the emotional influence, so to speak. And it makes sense because you have an emotional hangover from the day before. If you do that kind of inner work and you really kind of dredge out all of this stuff from the past and you look at it and it's like, wow, I really have left a trail of destruction in my wake here. Looking at it from this perspective of having been inconsiderate and treating people the way I have because I was frightened and prideful and selfish, and looking at what that's left behind can be a little bit of a yikes. So on Wednesday there may be this sense of, oh, I'm emotionally somewhat run down, I'm tired. And that's where faulty thinking comes in, and then you can create even more drama and stress and negativity for yourself because you're just tired and you're like, oh, you know, I can't be bothered, I'm just gonna do this way. That's the way I've always done it, so let's just do the work this way. And you're meant to kind of be on your toes a little bit. So, you know, in the morning, have a cup of coffee, get some good sleep Tuesday night, because just doing the same things that you always do and relying on the ideas that you've always relied on isn't going to work. You've got to stay with it on Wednesday. Thursday the 9th of May, we have Venus in Aries. So the planet of love and beauty. And that squares Pluto now in Capricorn. So on Tuesday, it squared Saturn, structure and security. And Pluto is about transformation and change, death and rebirth. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes. So we have Venus squaring, causing friction first with the building, the tower. And now it's connecting and it's causing friction with this firebird, the phoenix. So on Tuesday you were shown every failure that you endured in matters of love and relationships. And here on Thursday, you're going to be shown how to transform those failures into successes and what new behavior you can adopt to ensure success in the future. So if you don't do Tuesday, you don't get Thursday. So the example of the person who doesn't get out of bed and duvet dives all day because it's just too much, I can't deal with it, I'm just going to stay asleep. Or the person who just gets drunk and doesn't want to deal with their feelings. Or the person who goes to the gym 6 hours and runs so that their head shuts up. You know, we have lots of different tools to not face what's going on within ourselves. You may go on a shopping spree on Tuesday and spend lots of money just so you don't have to face your own past failures in terms of love. A lot of people are scared of doing step 4. And I never really understood that because I always thought if I know what my problems are, then I'm going to be able to at least change them. And I was wrong. Because if you understand what your problems are, you have an understanding about them, but you need the power to change. And simply knowing doesn't change you. And Thursday is when the power comes in. The phoenix rising from the ashes, the firebird, that's powerful. So you get the knowledge on Tuesday, and on Thursday you get the muscle that you need to actually adapt that behavior and change it. So you get a bit of a on Wednesday, the 8th of May, and then on Thursday you're given the answers so that you can really change what you're doing. So this is a very, very transformative couple of days in terms of your personal life and who you are and how you love and how you relate to other people. It can potentially be life-changing if you pay attention. On Friday the 10th of May, I'm sorry, I keep going back, but you know, on Tuesday, I really am going to have a long list to go through. I don't think I've done a step 4 on all my failed loves and unrequited loves and all of that stuff. And there's going to be a lot of me in there because I'm the one who originated it. And I am not afraid to go there, even though it's going to be painful, because can it be worse than sweeping it under the rug and having this sense of unease all the time? Can it be worse than actually going through it? And I've been through it. Can't hurt me anymore. I've already experienced it and survived and come out the other side. So yes, revisiting isn't the most wonderful destination, but I'm certainly not afraid of it because I've come out the other side already. I mean, I'm still standing. So there's nothing to be afraid of. It's worth doing because you have to know what the problem is first before you can address it. If there is no problem, then there's nothing to change and address. So on Friday the 10th of May, we've got the moon going into Leo at 15 minutes past 1 in the afternoon. So this is really positive now. The moon is ruled by Leo for the majority of the day, and the sun rules Leo, so it's fiery, it's empowered, it's in the spotlight, it's happy. The Leo moon trines Chiron in Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer. Both of them are in fire signs, and a trine is a harmonious relationship. And they square Uranus, the planet of chaos, and Mercury in Taurus. So Friday obviously is the follow-up to Thursday, but it really follows up in a consistent, very precise way. Now that you have the right information, you gathered the information on Thursday, how to change your behavior and ensure success, you immediately follow up on that, and you take practical actions immediately to heal your life, the wounded healer sitting in that recipe there, and your relationships. So you pick up the phone, you reconnect with people, you apologize, you mend fences, and other numbers you delete from your phone because you realize that you really weren't at fault in that situation. You had a part to play in it, but you don't need to continue that anymore. That self-knowledge, the transformation, will realize, for example, will help you realize that you don't need to feel guilty anymore, and you don't need to have this person in your life anymore just because you have this ongoing sense of guilt. That's gone now, because you've looked at it. So you see, looking at these things can really clarify things in a positive way as well. On Saturday the 11th, the Sun in Taurus trines Saturn in Capricorn. So this is very strong and stable. The identity and the structure planets meet, so you feel strong in your identity now. So on Saturday, you have a new confidence and self-assuredness after this week that is not fleeting. It's not just, a brief kind of fire spurt that is Leo, like a moon in Leo that gives you a couple of days of feeling joyous and happy. It's a new permanent structure within yourself. If you face the emotions that came up on Tuesday and on Thursday, you'll come out of this week as a more solid, wiser, and emotionally secure person. And you really have grown during this week, and you'll be much more settled in yourself than you were when you started the week. So this is real power and real confidence. It's not based on wishful thinking, but on true self-knowledge, and then using the power to actually make those changes and to apply the knowledge in a practical way. On Sunday the 12th of May, we've got the moon going into Virgo at 4:23 in the afternoon. The Virgo moon then quincunxes Chiron in Aries. Quincunx is a positive relationship again. So the Virgo moon is about learning and absorbing information. Chiron in Aries is about let's do things to heal. And the moon in Virgo also trines Uranus in Taurus. So it connects with this chaos in the practical world, with Chiron in the middle. So on Sunday, you find ways to soothe yourself and to do something that's just for you. You may want to be alone a little bit. You may have that feeling of, okay, I need some time for myself. It's been an exhausting week emotionally, and I just want to have some peace and quiet. So if you're doing that, instead of retreating into your room and licking your wounds, celebrate the fact that you've got through this week and that you've achieved a lot internally. Because the moon and Uranus are both in earth signs, you can really celebrate yourself by doing practical things. So things that make you feel good. Maybe go shopping, or take a hike, or visit a spa, or Yeah, buy yourself something that you've had your eye on for a while. You deserve it. It's not an easy week. You've worked hard, and you really come out of this week as a better person if you engaged with the energy. If you didn't engage with the energy and just numbed yourself through it, then fine. But if you, and that is fine. I don't mean that in a snarky way. You know, we're not always ready at certain points in our lives. I mean, I went to my first 12-step meeting when I was 18, and it just did not resonate with me at all. And I had to keep doing what I was doing for the next decade, and I went back at 28 when my life was, and then I was ready to listen because I was out of answers. At 18, I thought I knew everything. Such a cliche. But at 18, you do think you know everything. All the other people who've lived, they just didn't know how to do it right. But me, I'm gonna do it right. I know how to do everything. Turns out I didn't have all the answers, and it took me a while to figure that out. And it was only when I kind of hit my personal rock bottom that I was willing to look at the things, my part in things, and to realize that maybe my life was the way it was because of me. Because your life is the way it is because of you. You are what you think. The way you think, that becomes, you not only manifest your life, it becomes your destiny. And that's why we always, and I go on and on about meditation and letting the higher self and those positive thoughts come in, and trying to let go of the negative ego thoughts that create problems for us, and letting the positive thoughts come in and being in that space, because when you're in that space you create a life that works. And sometimes we can't do it ourselves because it's this ongoing battle between the negative voice, you know, the devil and the angel sitting on your shoulder. And that's always there. As long as you're alive, you're going to have an ego. And you can manifest a wonderful life if you make the ego this big and you make the angel sitting on your shoulder huge, or at least you try your best. So watch what you think, because it becomes who you are, it becomes your life, it becomes your destiny, and you can only think more clearly through self-knowledge and through facing unpleasant truths about yourself. And then you get lucky this week because you're being given the power to actually then make changes and be done with certain behavior patterns, so that you don't need to re-manifest them and go through them again. So you raise your vibration and you stop messing around down here, and you start to rise above the problems that you had back then, and you face a more luxurious set of problems. And that's what we're all trying to do, to just raise our vibration as high as we can possibly make it, so that we can have better lives. So this, if you look at it that way, this is a great week. It's just somewhat draining emotionally. So take your general food supplement, get lots of sleep, take care of yourself, and remember to be nice to yourself. This self-work and looking at yourself, it's not easy, and you can easily go down a shame spiral. And you've got to be nice to yourself and realize that you're not the only person who has cheated on a partner. You're not the only person who's behaved terribly. And just because you've behaved a certain way doesn't make you a bad person. I was surprised. I had to learn this as well. Sorry to go on and on. But a person and their behavior are two separate things. I always used to think that if someone behaves badly, that's a bad person. But their behavior is bad, but the person may be good. And when you realize that about yourself, then you change the behavior. And a lot of people like me who didn't get that there was a difference between the behavior and the person, because we judge others on their actions, don't we? Then when you change your behavior, then other people will judge you on those positive actions. And that's when you manifest better realities for yourself. It's all interconnected. It's all part of this bigger puzzle piece. And all you can try and do is lift yourself up out of the muck like the lotus flower and work your way up until you can flourish. And it takes work. Some people are just born, ding, hooray. Others aren't. So I hope you have a lovely week. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Click on the readings tab to order your reading. I use astrology, tarot, and numerology in my personal readings. And by drawing up your astrology chart, I can see everything about you, where you've been in past lifetimes, why you've come back, and what you're doing in this lifetime, or what you would like to achieve, your life purpose in this lifetime, what you're talented at when it comes to work. I believe that each one of us has been given a talent that we can use to really thrive career-wise and financially here on planet Earth. And I can identify that in your chart. We can look at love and career and health and moving and where the ideal place is for you to live. And I use the predictive astrology and the tarot to look at what's coming up in future. So what you can look forward to and expect in your romantic life and in moving and the sale of the house and the settlement of the court case and whatever questions you may have. So if you're interested in a personal reading with me, then please do get in touch via my website, gregoryscott.com. Have a wonderful and enlightening week, and I'll speak to you next week.